to the end of a very, very intense year.
Shawn Mendes' new documentary, In Wonder, is out now, and we're breaking down all the major bombshell moments. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We have to talk about this Shawn Mendes documentary, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Gabby Ganta and Avery Grooms. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. So let's dive right in because there is so much to talk about. This documentary was so well done. He really shared so much. We're just going to highlight some of the standout moments. But if you haven't watched it yet, you guys, you really should. There is so much to see. First of all, he and Camila reflected on when they first met, which, if you remember correctly, it was actually touring with Austin Mahone way back in 2014.
We'll see you guys soon.
Johnny boy, I'm gonna miss you.
They were both opening acts. Shawn was like the opening, and Camila was with Fifth Harmony. So way back when. Shawn said, "This was my first tour ever, and she was the act after me. I was the first in the lineup with the shortest set." And Camila said he was super hyper focused on what he was doing. "I never saw him that whole tour. I thought he was cute, but he was doing other stuff, so whatever." I love these two quotes because I feel like Shawn is just so humble, and I think it's so funny. Everyone has said for years that it's so obvious he had a crush on her, but to hear her be like, he was just busy and I thought he was cute. It's so crazy to think about how far they've come. Gabby, do you remember them from this era way back in 2014?
I honestly don't really, and I had no idea this is where they met, so this is such a cute story. I think, it's always great to look back on with your friends or with a boyfriend or something, look back on how you met and how maybe your paths have crossed and you didn't know them and just how things have changed so much in your life. So I think that's a great story and it's adorable. They've really come so far. They're one of the couples that are thriving the most in Hollywood right now. So love to see that. I think people in the beginning, pegged them as just an act or just, release new music together and just for PR or whatever. But they've really proved that wrong. And I think they're doing so great and are so cute.
I think this is so adorable. I also did not know until I saw this that this is how they met. I just hear Austin Mahone and think about how huge of a throwback that already is. Like things I think about me being 13, like, I don't know. But that is just so cute that they were both the opening act and just this whole little story and to see where they are now. They've come such a long way. And I think there were a lot of haters at the beginning that didn't want to see them do so well. And I mean, they've exceeded all of our expectations. They're a power couple for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. They're one of like the couples in Hollywood right now. But they obviously were friends. I mean, many, many years of friendship, nothing romantic, other relationships. It was backstage. Talk about, first of all, they have the Austin Mahone story. And then we get to like where the connection kind of began. And it just blows my mind how cool they are. It was backstage at a Taylor Swift concert that they reconnected. And this is when their like real friendship, like working together, really getting to know each other began. Backstage at that concert, they, I guess, inspiration struck and they started working on I Know What You Did Last Summer, which of course led to recording sessions, music videos, lots of texts. And this is where I think they kind of went from acquaintances to great friends. And Camila reflected in this doc that at that time she started to like him. She said, "That's really when the saga started. I really liked him. I guess he liked me, but I don't really know." So I just think this whole thing is so interesting because it sounds like so real, like two people who liked each other on and off, but never talked about it, never figured it out, didn't cross that line. It just feels like such a relationship classic. And I think it's so cute to see them be this candid about it, so many years after the fact. Were you surprised to see them be so candid about, all of the different stages of their crushes on each other? What did you think, Gabby?
Yeah, it was a bit surprising. I think they're at a point in their relationship now where they can just talk about it and laugh about it and have fun. I think for celebrities, it's interesting because when they're working so close together, especially like on a movie set or in recording studios, it's easy to think like, wow, like, do I like this person? Or are we just spending a lot of time together and like writing a love song, you know? So it's hard sometimes. So that's probably why they had feelings for each other or things were starting, but they weren't quite sure. But it's so cute then that they can just now talk about it openly. And I'm sure fans are definitely on board for all of this that was in this doc.
Yeah, it just seems so real and raw to me that they reconnected in such a creative way. They're both songwriters and they came out with this killer song, I Know What You Did Last Summer. And it's just cool to see like that's when they started to like each other again because so much goes into writing and recording a song and so much emotion. And like the fact that they found their connection through doing that is just so awesome and so authentic and raw to me. I just love that. I think it's so cute. I think they're so cute.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of been like this thing. Everyone suspected Shawn had a crush on her. Like, it's sort of been one of those, like, if you're a diehard fan, you were rooting for this for such a long time for so many reasons. And Shawn has put it out there into the universe that she's inspired every song he's ever written. I don't know if there's some hyperbole involved there or if he meant that as a total fact.
My song comes on the radio or something, and I'm like, everything is about you. It's always they've always been about you. She goes, what do you mean? I'm like they're all about you. Like every song I've ever wrote.
Either way, quite a statement. He reflected on when he revealed that to her, like when he told her that news for the first time in the documentary. And he said she literally had no idea. The whole time he thought she knew. So he thought he was releasing albums and she totally understood. And I guess that was not the case. He said, I don't think that I'm going to be able to write songs that really do it justice, that can really capture the things and the feelings with her. So basically, she's been his muse forever. We've seen amazing songs come out of like her impact, her inspiration. But it's now that they're together, there's more pressure on the songwriting to like capture the reality of their relationship than it was when it was just like a crush. Avery, what are your thoughts? I mean, I feel like there's going to be a microscope on every song he writes from now on. Like it's just so interesting for them to be this candid with us.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot more pressure. I mean, I also don't understand how she didn't have an idea that every song was about her, but at the same time, the fact that every song was about her, I mean, this man is in love with her, one. And then after, if someone told me that, I'd be like, okay, this boy is wrapped around my finger. Like, she's really got him. But I would definitely go back and listen to all those songs with that in mind. And I mean, she's probably done that. But now I think there's a little more pressure on the situation. Like you said, it's under a microscope because now he has to basically express like his real relationship that he's in with her. And she'll definitely be listening for that. But I think that's just so great that artists get to express their relationships and just feelings and art in this type of way.
I don't think it's exactly more pressure on Shawn, I guess I would say, but just like a different muse or a different inspiration and a whole new set of feelings and experiences that he can draw from for the new songs that he writes. And I really think that when he said that all the songs are about her, I think it's more of like a metaphor type thing because they've known each other for a long time. We just went over that, but I think, until they started dating, that not all the songs were technically about her, but I think like since they found this just amazing love that they're so invested in right now, like I think he took a moment to like sit back and he had this moment where he realized, wow, like every song, like every lyric that I've written, it describes us perfectly. And like she was in the back of his mind during this song or, things like that. So I really feel like she was always there as an inspiration. And so both of them must have realized afterward that what they have is so special and that he can just like really hear and feel that in his music. So definitely looking forward to what else he comes out with her in mind.
Yeah, I think you are totally right, Gabby. I mean, some of what he meant could have simply been like, I was writing about a type of love that I want, and now I found it with you. But when you look at other songs, like you look back on Treat You Better,
I know I can treat you better than he can.
I mean, talk about looking at that through a completely different lens. We know Camila has had boyfriends, and we know Shawn liked her at the time. So I feel like with certain songs that he's put out, there's really like a direct line straight to Camila, which of course is just fascinating as fans of both of theirs. We love to unravel the meanings behind lyrics. I feel like this is something we're never going to get tired of. Obviously, just like everybody else this year, Shawn and Camila have been, put through the ringer. We've all had to stay at home. We've all had to really lean into the boring, normal life of it all. And I think it was really interesting timing, just based on the way their relationship unfolded. So much interest in the public eye, so much attention at once. They each had new music out. Like, it was such a whirlwind for a while. And then everything really just slowed down. And he talked about that a little bit, how they've been able to just sort of sink into normal life. He shared that they're staying in an apartment in New York City, and he joked about making eggs and trying to figure out how to use a Keurig. He said, this is really cool just to be like a 21-year-old guy and getting older. I thought that was really awesome because as someone who roots for them, roots for their relationship, the quarantine test, I kind of feel like is no other. Like, can you thrive when you're traveling the world and, having all of these amazing experiences? Sure. But can you also thrive when literally all there is to do is, make eggs and use a Keurig? I mean, what are your thoughts, Avery, on seeing them sort of like navigate this chapter?
I think it's nice that they got a chance to do normal things and live, more of a simple life, especially together. So I think it definitely tested them, but probably in the best way possible. They got to really slow down and just, experience what it would be like to be normal people living together, which they don't get to do much. But I think it tested them, but obviously made them stronger. I don't think there's any breaking to do with this couple. They only get stronger and better.
It really was. Quarantine seriously speeds things along and lets you know if you're ready to be, committed to this person or not. And I think it was the opposite of a Demi Lovato and Max Eric situation, engaged and unengaged in a very short amount of time. Clearly, this couple is not rushing things at all. They're seriously taking it slow, which seems to be working for them. But they're just adopting more dogs, more and more dogs every week. So I think that's what they have on their plate right now. On top of just normal, everyday quarantine things, they've got some new puppies to take care of. So really, really cute.
I love it. Well, aside from the relationship with Camila, which we're, going to talk about until the cows come home because it will never not be interesting. In this doc, Shawn touched on some other stuff too. He talked about just his career and fame in general. His sister actually revealed on the documentary that when they were younger, she asked him about the idea of being famous and he completely rejected it, like had no interest. She shared, he was like, no, I don't want to be famous. It seems awful. So interesting to reflect on that now that he is so famous that literally taking a walk down the street is like viral worldwide news. I think it's really interesting. I feel like it kind of just adds to the notion of Shawn being someone who, loves music, loves the art of writing and creating and recording and performing, and fame just really isn't a part of it. It's sort of like an accident, in a way. What are your thoughts on that attitude, Gabby, and just like some insight into his, thoughts about it all?
It makes sense. I think he's one of the more private celebrities and people in the music industry comparatively. We do see them, walking, doing their daily walks every now and then. But other than that, when we think about it, he got famous because of his singing videos back on Vine, back in the Vine days. He was just trying, like you said, to work on music, every day or put out as much content as he could. And then people just absolutely fell in love with him and everything took off from there. So I think he's loving the life where he can just make music freely and be happy doing that. The fame part of it, he might still be struggling with, but at the end of the day, he's doing what he loves. So, can't blame him for that.
Yeah, I think him originally never wanting to be famous is just very telling of what the type of person he is. He's in it for the art, not the fame, but there's no denying how talented he is. And when you put out content like that with that much talent and the songwriting, just everything, you know, he's really the full package. He's gonna blow up. But I think that's good to know that he didn't have that mindset originally. That always makes for a better artist who will last longer. So yeah, I think it's very telling of what type of person he is and how authentic he is, and just talent speaks louder than anything else, and I'm glad he earned his spot.
Oh, totally. And that's, you know what, that's such a great point because, you know, Sean is still young and he entered the public eye totally young. And I mean, perhaps I'm forgetting one or two things here or there, but I really don't think I am. He's remained pretty scandal free. He's always been a great role model, you know, kept his head above the fray. And with young stars, that's, you know, not always the case. So I think it's really interesting just to hear him reflect on how far he's come. Honestly, this year, you guys, in general, is just going to be such a huge year for Sean. We've got the new album, we've got the documentary, quite a bit to accomplish in the land of 2020. And as we said, Shawmila is happy and thriving, and we hope to continue to see that for many years to come. So, all in all, I'm pretty pleased with where we can end this Sean update. I love a positive story. Such
Yeah.
a great change of pace. You guys, we want to know your thoughts. Have you seen the documentary yet? Is there any moment in particular that stood out to you? Are you loving the new album? Let us know all your thoughts about Sean down in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. You can follow me on socials at Fiona Zaring. Gabby, where can they find you?
You can follow me at Gabby Gonta.
You can follow me at Avery Grims.
Amazing. Thanks, you guys. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time. Bye.